She claims that you launched a campaign of harassment against her. Is that true?
No, and I'm glad you brought it up. There were a lot of documents that were withheld from me that I've recently gotten. One of them talks about her specific accusation that I stood on school grounds and passed out a flyer to parents. And there is actually a school record that states that on the day she reported I was doing this, she talked to the school authorities, a police officer came to the school, and the police officer reported I wasn't even there that day.
Did you ever make up a flyer?
No.
Whether you passed it out or not, you never made up a flyer?
Never created it, and I have testified to that.
I mean, the principal went up and asked her to leave, and she said, I'm exercising my First Amendment right. I'm sure there's 200 people that can swear to it, that she was there.
This flyer was like an open letter
Exactly.
to all parents and interested parties and all. Now she's saying, didn't do it, didn't happen.
Yeah,
What do you think about that? She's pled guilty to creating these problems in your life. Now she's coming, sitting down, talking to me, saying, didn't happen. Did not happen, wasn't there, didn't make one up, didn't pass one out, wasn't there.
I mean, what do I make of it? She's nuts. I'm not a doctor, but even I knew it the day I met her. That was the first encounter I had with her, and the last one, by the way, in my face.
Did she file a police report against you?
Yes, I believe she did, yeah.
I filed a police report about the incident at school a couple weeks afterwards because the action that we had been told would be taken hadn't been taken.
What was your theory that made you think it would be a criminal matter for the police?
What I told him was that my child had been detained. I suppose if I had to put a word on it, I would possibly at the time have said endangerment.
You told the court she was tried to kill you?
Well, let's go back through that. She was supposed to have been removed from her position at the after-school company.
Right.
So I don't think saying that trying to get her thrown out of a school or any Irvine school is an accurate statement. And I do have proof that Kelly was repeatedly showing up in private areas where we lived and then also approaching my son at school.
How did she try to kill you?
Well, what I was saying was that she had issued these threats. She was consistently showing up in private areas for confrontations.
What was your basis for representing to the court, as an officer of the court,
Right.
that she was trying to kill you?
Well, she was following me. She was coming in private areas. She was approaching our son. She seemed unhinged, and she was issuing threats.
And what were the threats?
So it's been 7 years. I'd have to read it again. I don't like to think about it.
But threats against your life.
That is how I took them.
Did you try to kill her?
No,
Did you stalk her?
no, I did not.
Did you show up in private areas and places where she lived to try to confront and threaten her?
I don't even know what that means. What's a private area?
Well, I guess she means in her neighborhood.
No, I never even knew where she lived. I never drove by her house. I wouldn't be bothered with something like that. I just
Did you approach her son at school and try to
never.
intimidate
I
him
mean,
in any
he
way?
was in the same area as me a few times. He was actually very nice and cordial to me as I was to him.
Did you ever threaten this woman's life? Did you
Never.
ever threaten her family in
No,
any way?
never.
Were you a menacing presence in this family in any way whatsoever?
No, I didn't even know what her husband looked like. I mean, I'd seen her one time and she was menacing me. All the stuff she said I was doing to her, she was doing to me. And that's well documented.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.